Imagine waking up and seeing your life ticking away on your arm. Years, months, minutes, counting down with every breath you take. You're 25 forever, but when that clock hits zero, you die. In this world, time isn't money. Time is life. The story begins in the gray slums of Dayton, a place where no one has more than a day to live. We see Will and his mother in their small apartment, both already awake before dawn. They don't waste a second. She's getting ready for work, checking the glowing numbers on her arm. Just a few hours left. They talk quietly over breakfast, worried about their loan repayment. The rent just went up again. Not in money, in time. Everything costs time here. Will tries to reassure her, saying he'll earn some extra hours at the factory today. Outside, the streets are full of people rushing, trading, begging for time. There are pawn shops that sell minutes, ATMs that transfer life. Coffee costs 4 minutes. Will heads to the factory, a massive mechanical nightmare where hundreds of workers move like clockwork, producing machines that none of them can afford. After another long, lifeless shift at the factory, Will heads to a local bar. A man sitting alone in the corner, calm, confident, wearing expensive clothes. But it's not the clothes that stand out, it's his clock. He has over 100 years' time glowing on his arm. In this part of the city, that's suicide. You don't show off time like that unless you're begging to die. Whispers start spreading through the bar. The Minutemen are here tonight, and their leader, Fortis, notices the glowing clock. Will can sense what's about to happen. Will tells the rich man this isn't the kind of place where people live long. The man doesn't resist. He is ready to die. Will steps in. Will grabs his hand. They crash out the back door, sprinting through narrow alleys as the Minutemen chase him. Will knows these streets, every shortcut, every dead end. They barely make it to an abandoned building by the river, hiding in silence as Fortis's men search nearby. Inside the abandoned building, the rich man finally speaks. He introduces himself as Henry Hamilton, a man with over 100 years on his arm. Will sits and tells Henry his real age. 25 years. He's been alive for 25 years and 3 days. Henry smiles and says, "You're lucky. You still see every second as precious." Will looks confused and asks, why would anyone want to die when they have a century to spend? Henry tells him he lived more than 100 years and 100 in his arm. He says he's lived too long, watched the same people, the same greed. Will says, "Okay, let's sleep. Don't worry, I don't take your time." And the next morning, Will wakes, feels something different. Beside Henry, give his all time to Will and gone. For the moment, Will just stands there stunned, grateful, confused. He doesn't know how to feel. But then he remembers one thing, his mother. She only had a few hours left. He starts running. His mother, Rachel, is on the bus trying to reach him. She checks her arm, half an hour left. The fare collector asks for 2 hours. She doesn't have it. The driver refuses to move until everyone pays. She's forced to get off, stranded miles from home, and starts running barefoot through the empty highway. Will is doing the same, running toward her. He spots her, across the road, running full speed. He shouts her name, reaching out his hand. But just as they're about to touch, her clock hits zero. She collapses in his arms, lifeless, before he can transfer a single second. He screams, holding her tight, knowing that in this world, even love has an expiration date. Hours later, a sleek black vehicle arrives. From it steps a man in a long coat, Raymond Leon, a timekeeper, the law enforcer of this world. He reached to Henry's body and see his time is gone. Raymond looks at the nearby camera feed. One name flashes on his device, Will Salas, a man from the ghetto, now carrying over 100 years of stolen time. After losing his mother, he decides to go across the border to New Greenwich, the richest time zone in the country. Will rents a luxury hotel room. That night, Will enters a grand casino, filled with people who gamble centuries like their pocket change. At one of the tables, he spots a man surrounded by security and attention, Philippe Weiss, one of the richest men alive. Will joins their table, playing poker with time as the bet. The tension is thick, everyone's clock glowing brighter with every raise. Will plays calm, fearless, betting decades without flinching. Each hand is a battle. The rich man's cold patience versus Will's raw nerve. In the final round, Philippe raises big, over 1,000 years. The entire table goes silent. Will pauses, his clock ticking down fast, and then he pushes everything he has. One last card. He wins. 1,100 years. The table erupts in whispers. Philippe just smiles, shaking Will's hand, and Philippe's daughter, Sylvia, beautiful, curious, and clearly bored with her immortal world. Sylvia first time met someone who's not afraid to risk it all. Later that night, Will and Sylvia meet again at a party. The music is soft. They talk, closer now, both from different worlds. One who's seen death every day, and one who's never even imagined it. But just as things seem to slow down between them, the party is interrupted. The doors open. Raymond walks in with his team of timekeepers. He moves straight toward Will and says, "You're under arrest for the theft of time." Will tries to explain that the time was given to him, not stolen. But Raymond doesn't care. They drain almost everything from his arm, leaving him with just 2 hours to live. As the guards prepare to take him away, Will makes one last desperate move. He grabs Sylvia, the daughter of the richest man in the city, and pulls her with him. The two race out of the mansion, stealing a car and vanishing into the slums. Will and Sylvia are speeding down the empty highway. Timekeeper sirens echo behind them. Will's clock shows only 2 hours left, blinking faster with every second. Sylvia is terrified, realizing for the first time that here, time literally means life. On their way back, the car speeds through a narrow street. Suddenly, it spins out of control. Both survive, shaken but alive. But someone, Fortis, saw them. The same gang leader from earlier, the man Will once warned at the bar. He walks out with his Minutemen crew. Fortis takes Sylvia time now. Sylvia and Will have just a few minutes. Then they sell Sylvia's diamonds for just 2 days. Will and Sylvia know they're running out of options. They need time and a way to stop the system that's hunting them. So Will decides to call Sylvia's father and ask them for 1,000 years. Will walks out, realizing the truth he's been avoiding. The rich will never share time. His father alerted the timekeepers to track their every move. In the next day, Will tells Sylvia to call her father and ask about the time. Will give her a gun to protect herself. Will sit nearby and watching her. Raymond sees Will come slowly from behind. But before Raymond can fire, a gunshot rings out. Sylvia shot him. Will notices that the timekeeper, Raymond, doesn't have much time left. Timekeepers aren't allowed to carry more than a few hours on their clock, so they can't be robbed. Will transfers a few minutes from his own time to keep Raymond alive. He knows what it's like to watch the clock run out, and even though Raymond hunted him, he doesn't want him to die like that. He leaves him there in the slum. After that, Will and Sylvia stop hiding. They start robbing time banks and delivery trucks with help from people in the slums. Every time they steal, they share the time with those who need it most. People who were once seconds away from dying suddenly have days, even weeks. The slum begins to change. For the first time, people aren't afraid to look at their clocks. Will and Sylvia become legends in the poor zones. They sit in a small, safe room. Will explains a trick his father taught him. The idea is simple. When someone comes to take your time, don't waste energy fighting right away. Use the few seconds you have to make the other person show their arm and let their guard drop. When you have just a few seconds left, the opponent see your arm, that's the time you manipulate him and take his all time. The sound of engines and boots echo through the alleys. Will spots them first, grabs Sylvia's hand, and they run through the narrow back streets. They barely make it until they reach a small, run-down hotel at the edge of the district. He pays with a handful of years and rents every single room in the building. The idea is simple. If they control the whole place, the timekeepers can't easily find which room they're in.
As they are going into their room in the same time, a man comes to rent a room, but the receptionist told him there are no rooms, but he sees Sylvia and Will. Fortis and his Minutemen are back in control. They've been hunting Will since the day he humiliated them in the bar, and now they're desperate to find him. Inside an abandoned warehouse, a group of locals who once helped by Will and Sylvia are there. Fortis walks slowly among them. He begins taking their time one by one, watching their clocks hit 0 as they fall to the floor. He doesn't need all of them to talk, just one. Among the group is the same man who saw Will and Salvia at the hotel earlier that evening. When Fortis reaches him, he blurts it out, says he saw the two of them checking into a small hotel on the edge of the district. He gives every detail he remembers. The man, thinking he's done the right thing, nervously asks what his reward will be. Fortis pats him on the shoulder, pretending to agree. Then, without hesitation, he grabs the man's arm and drains his clock dry. Fortis and his gang reach the hotel. The door bursts open. Salvia tries to run, but Fortis blocks the exit. He tells his men to stay back. This time, he wants to face Will alone. He challenges Will to a time fight, the same deadly game where both lock arms and try to take each other's time. Whoever loses hits 0. They clasp hands, and the green glow of their clocks fills the room. Fortis is stronger, more confident, and starts draining Will's time fast. Seconds flash by as Will struggles to keep up. But then he remembers what his father once told him: never fight back too soon. Instead of resisting, Will goes still. He lets Fortis think he's winning. For a moment, Fortis lowers his guard, certain he's about to win again. That's when Will makes his move. In one sharp motion, he twists their hands and reverses the flow. The transfer flips, and now Fortis's time starts draining fast. Years, decades, centuries pouring into Will's clock before Fortis even realizes what's happening. Within seconds, Fortis collapses. Will kill remaining Minutemen. After Fortis and his Minutemen are gone, as they move through the streets, they see chaos everywhere. Raymond and his team have rounded up everyone who ever helped by Will. One by one, their clocks are drained until nothing is left. Will watches from a distance, helpless. He realizes that even with all the centuries he took from Fortis, nothing has really changed. The system still owns everything. He looks at Salvia, and they both understand the same thing without speaking. They need to take something so big that it shakes the system completely. Then they decide to surrender. Then we see Felipe arrives at one of his secure time facilities surrounded by armed guards. Salvia appears from behind a column holding a gun steady in her hand and tells Felipe she's surrendering. The guards rush forward, but Felipe signals them to wait. He wants to hear what she has to say. She says quietly, "Do you notice something?" Felipe, confused. Before he can respond, one of the guards suddenly moves. Will turns his gun on Felipe while Salvia covers the rest of the guards. Now they go to take 1,000,000 years. After escaping with the 1,000,000 years, they know exactly what to do. This time, it's not about survival, it's about giving everyone a chance to live. Using Felipe's stolen access codes, they override the system and release the 1,000,000 years directly into the public network. Within minutes, every clock in the slums begins to rise. People who were seconds from dying suddenly have years, even decades blinking on their arms. Crowds gather in the streets, staring in disbelief as their time keeps increasing. Some cry, others laugh, and for the first time, there's no fear in anyone's eyes. The change spreads fast. Timekeepers lose control as the system starts to crash. The rich districts realize their hold over time is gone. The borders that once divided the poor and the rich open up. Factories stop, trade freezes, and the entire structure that depended on time as currency collapses. People start trading goods again instead of time. Food, water, and shelter become valuable, not the glowing numbers on their arms. Life starts to look human again. And that's how In Time ends. If you liked this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to CineBreaks.